Hello everybody. I don't know if you're going to believe this or not when I tell you this is a short one, because you've probably gotten used to me being pretty damn long-winded, and often I think that I'm going to present something that's relatively short and it takes on a life of its own. This is just a simple exercise, so this is one of our homework exercises, escapes. It's a do-it-yourself exercise. One of my escapes is gardening, and I thought that year's garden kind of looked pretty nice. The element of different flowers kind of popped. I thought it was pretty cool. But let's move on to this. This is escapes, a do-it-yourself exercise. It's going to be fun, I hope. It's a chapter. It's another chapter in the story of us, and we're going to brainstorm escapes, right? Then we're going to categorize those escapes. Multiple categories are okay. Then we're going to assess the pros and cons of escapes, and finally we're going to tie them to OSU's 9 wellness dimensions. And it's yet another way to be more mindful. That is, many of us engage in escapes. I think we really need to engage in escapes. It's healthy behavior under appropriate circumstances, right? And depending on the nature of the escape. So the categories of escapes that are possible, it could be a mental escape, daydreaming, reading a book, whatever. It could be a physical escape. I know many of you maybe probably hit the RPAC or some other exercise facility, or you go running, right? These are wonderful escapes. They can be spiritual escapes. So we might engage in prayer, depending on the nature of our religion. We might pray multiple times a day. We might save our prayers, more typically for a congregation on a Sabbath, which might be represented on a Saturday or Sunday, perhaps a Friday. But spiritual escapes, some people don't describe themselves as religious, but describe them as spiritual, and let's say maybe looking at the grandeur of the mountains, going out and hiking, causes them a spiritual escape. It can be emotional escapes, right? And others. So I don't intend this list to be all inclusive. Now the wellness dimensions, as we remember, 9, count them: career, creative, emotional, environmental, financial, intellectual, physical, social, spiritual. So what is the goal here? Well, you're probably guessing it's some kind of mashup. So here's an example template, right? And I first did this exercise, I think it was last spring. It must have been last fall. Shoot, I can't even remember. It doesn't matter. We did it in class, and we brainstormed a list, and my God, we filled up the whole blackboard. It was just full of these. But so an example template, and this should be available for you on Carmen, so you can use that template, right, with the assignment. So in this case, and this was a huge list, so I just gave an example. Like watching a sunset. Someone volunteered as escape. Playing basketball. Tend to my aquariums, right? Bicycle racing. Being alone. Watching television, sleeping. Notice these are all potential escapes that students were saying, hey, this is how I escape. And then we went back and we said, okay, so what category might this then feed to? And watching a sunset, someone's described it, well, it's spiritually rejuvenating for me to do that, right? Now notice there could be more than one category, so list multiple categories, right? And what is the pro then? And remember, I want to go back pros and cons throughout this class. What's the pros? Well, it's calming and it's inspiring to watch the sunset. The con? Well, it's not under one's control necessarily, so you might want to think, oh, I would love to watch a nice sunset, but the sunset might not be that attractive, right? So it might not work out. Now, notice there's other cons as well. Almost anything you do comes at a cost of not doing something different with that time, right? And then the wellness dimensions. So now we go back to the 9 wellness dimensions, and students in this case said spiritual, emotional, and social. And we say social, and they say, well, if you watch the sunset with someone else, it can be a social wellness dimension. So be flexible, be open-minded, be creative with this. The assignment is pretty straightforward, right? And this is something that you just share amongst you. It's, kind of on you guys to determine how you intend to share these documents and how you intend to communicate with each other. We're really kind of pushing for using Microsoft 365. Why? well, use what you prefer, but let me just put this caveat that people have been voicing to me is that Google has a strange relationship with China. So any of our students, any of our fellow Buckeyes who are in China might not be able to participate via Google or Google Docs, right? So Microsoft 365 works, and I assume it's pretty straightforward to use. So the blank template looks like this, and this will be available to you on Carmen, as I said. So the details: 4 group members. Each group member generates 5 escapes. That's 20 total. Everyone is then free to contribute to all the other cells in the table: pros, cons, wellness dimensions. And this will allow us to understand multiple perspectives. And this is why it's good to do this, I think, as a shared document. Right? So each of you fill in 5 escapes, right? And then all 4 of you go to town and fill in the rest of the matrix, and the template should expand. That is, those cells within the Excel sheet should get bigger as you need to. So there should be really no limit on your rooms. And of course, it'll be submitted via Carmen, right, as a document when you're all said and done. And that's it. So this is a short one, as promised. Well, pretty short. Less than 6 minutes. Pretty short for me. So there you go. Enjoy the asters. I got to grow asters again. I haven't grown asters in the garden, and I think they're just absolutely amazing flowers. So maybe next year. All right, guys. See you later.